So
if I can come up with the down payment.
If I can come up with money, yeah. If the SBA loan comes through because of the coronavirus, I'm getting one. Hey everybody, welcome back to Blacktop Banter. This is episode number 12. And first and foremost, our shout out, as always, this one goes to Anthony Trapanese. I hope that I said that right. But that's Husky Seal and Stripe at Husky Seal and Stripe on Instagram out of Seymour, Connecticut. Dude hit me up on Instagram, give me props for the podcast, saying he loves it. He really liked the one with Roland McCarthy and I talking about new outfits and all the connections and the choices and the options and all those things. So shout out to that dude. And we also had the winner of last month's giveaway for the podcast. And I believe that's Randall Buzz something or another. I can't remember the last name. Liz remembered the name, but I do remember the second runner's-up name because it was a primo Instagram name. But yeah, so we got that out of there, and then we're going to have a new giveaway coming up. We're getting some things coming in from some of the sponsors. Probably within a week or so, I'll announce that giveaway. We're just going to do one a month, and I'm going to pile up whatever the sponsors give and whatever we have to give. As I said, I think some of the stuff is going to be stuff that we can use out in the field. There were some spray tips last time. Hopefully we get some spray tips this time. I know Stencil Plus was talking about maybe throwing a stencil in there and stuff for us. So very cool. We'll be glad to get that thing out and get that announced and give them some props. Very thankful to all of our sponsors that have chipped in and jumped on board. I'm doing my best to navigate all of those through the podcast and shift them up a little bit to change things up for all of us. And some are YouTube sponsors and some are podcast sponsors, and we just really appreciate them. They make this thing click. They make me be able to fund the giveaways and fund some of the stuff we're going to be doing, some of the stuff for the giveaways, the stickers, all that stuff. So very appreciative to the sponsors. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to give something away. Look for the Instagram post. I think I'm going to go a little bit more in depth this time. Like you have to share the podcast or maybe share the giveaway or something like that. We want to get some more listeners or subscribe. Maybe subscribe to the YouTube channel. That could be one of them. One of those two ways. Let's kick into it. So probably a month ago, maybe a few weeks ago, maybe I noticed a post in one of the groups, and the post was from Cameron with a capital R in the middle, Hogate. And it was his ad for, I believe it was for somebody to work, if I'm not, like, hey, we want to hire somebody. Yeah. But it was super creative, and so creative enough that Mike Rowe, like Dirty Jobs Mike Rowe, grabbed it, reshared it, and that thing went over 1 million views and likes and everything in no time, which we're always a big fan of social media and viralness. And if you can piggyback on someone like Mike Rowe and really, really get put out there, it's very cool. So I said, Cameron, we got to have you on sometime. And even if it wouldn't have been super popular, because I remember you posted the content of it first. And then, holy shit, Mike Rowe grabbed it and it's going. But we were laughing at the content of it first just because it was hilariously the truth of our industry. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself, Cameron. Tell us your name, where you're from, your business, what you do, and then, we'll get into some other stuff.
Okay. My name's Cameron Hogate. I live in Palmer, Alaska. I've done asphalt and concrete for, I think this is my 9th year. I started pouring concrete when I was 15, did that for a couple years, moved to the asphalt thing, and then have done pretty much asphalt maintenance for the whole rest of my life until I started sitting the ceiling. This is my 4th summer or 4th season, so we're just keeping it rolling.
Man, 4 years,
and then 4
summers, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is my 4th summer.
How long is your summer? Because ours is like 6 months if we're lucky, sometimes.
It's like between patching and crack sealing, which you can push out, we're like 14, 15 weeks.
I got you.
So usually you start seal coating in first week of May, and I was patching all the way until the end of October last year, but that's pretty rare.
But so for sealing though, what about sealing?
That's like May through like middle of August, maybe.
Okay.
Like if we're lucky.
All right, cool. I always kind of wondered that because I know the season's going to get shorter, the more north you go. And then there's guys that we know, down south that are peeling it all the time. So, it's an interesting thing. But you also snowplow too, correctly?
Correct. Yeah.
So that runs usually, when do you usually start getting your first snows?
Yeah, that's usually like November-ish. Like sometimes we'll get it in October. That's not super common. But first, second week of November we'll start plowing.
Okay.
And then this year we didn't get much snow at all until February, March, and then we've just gotten slammed like every other day for like 6 weeks straight.
Yeah,
6 weeks.
So you stayed up for 6 weeks. I got you, man.
Pretty much.
That's why you got to have that coffee, bro. Brew hot.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know. So let's talk about what your services with Susitna. Susitna is the area where you live. Yeah, I asked you that beforehand because I was like, I want to know what that means because it's such a unique name, original name that I wanted to know what it was for. But you do seal coating, crack sealing, and patching. You do striping.
Yep, striping.
Oh.
We do everything. I'm fortunate to have not just worked for when I was doing the asphalt maintenance. It was all industrial work, like Air Force bases, joint sealing concrete, that sort of thing, as well as seal coating. And I had actually never done a driveway until I started working for myself.
Oh, okay.
So it was like pretty awkward because we were like like a heavy hitter commercial world. So the reason I bring that is to say like I'm blessed to have a lot more experience. Like we had a gravel pit at the place we worked, so like I had screen topsoil for like weeks on end and like that sort of thing. So like run a motor and all that. Right now I'm breaking into more into the patching. I'm trying to do highway stuff. We got a lot of utility work that we do, and trying to steer away from the residential seal coating more. Yeah,
I know. If you can, it's ideal. If you're not in a rural area and you can get more into the commercial, that's the transition. Some people go strictly from asphalt maintenance to paving, but I know you've linked up with some pavers to, so you guys can work together. That's the same thing we do. I don't really ever imagine we're going to make the leap to where Wiscoat is paving, but we do use subcontractors and we will partner up with people, and I'll bid the work and do all that stuff. So all they have to come in and pave and do things, and it works out. It's a good partnership because sometimes, dude, they don't want to mess around with asphalt maintenance. And with me, dude, I got enough stress in my life. I don't need to add that as well. So if I can pay them to do it and take a little bit for our commission, cool. I'm happy with that too. So that's a good idea.
I got paid for a little bit and F that.
Yeah. Yes. Dude, some people, it gives you a whole new respect for people. You're like, dude, you telling me you've been doing this for 20 years? Like, damn, dude. Like, all right, I want you on my side. Yeah, I know, man. It's same thing with concrete. Concrete's hard work. Roofing's hard work. Any of those guys that do it for a long amount of time, which, I mean, some of those asphalt days when we're out there, it's hot and miserable and humid where we are too. But and I paved, for a while. So I mean, none of it's ideal, but it's some of those make some men out of some men. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So how did you get started? I know you kind of said you worked for a company, but how did you get started and then transition to like, I want to do this on my own?
I got laid off the concrete job. Winter hit. We just ran out of work. I didn't really like the place I was working for anyway, so I didn't really want to hang out. So I
screw this joint.
For a little bit of backstory, my dad thinks it's unethical if you work 40 hours a week or less.
Yeah.
So we're used to work you should work every single day, 7 days a week, 12, 18, 20 hours a day. That's just the way it is.
Sure.
So I got laid off the next day. I just drove around. The only thing I knew how to do was shovel my ass off, really.
Yeah.
So I drove around all these shops and roofing and mechanic shops and everything else. I was like, I really don't know how to do it. I don't even know what you guys do, but like, if you need a laborer, like, let me know. And this one shop was like, can you work hard? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, you're hired. Like, show up tomorrow at this time. I was like, sweet. And I was like, I knew like the company name, but I didn't have a clue what asphalt. It was like something asphalt maintenance. And I was like, okay. And then we just kind of rolled with it from there.
Cool.
And then made the switch to myself when that turned out to be like a pretty terrible company, and he owed me a bunch of money and wasn't making payroll for months on end. And I was like, screw this. Like, I'm out of here. Like, I can do this by myself.
Yeah.
And turns out it was harder than I thought, as I think most people find out when they start working for themselves.
Yeah. I mean, you realize you can do the work, but then you realize that you actually have to become a businessman too. And like,
yeah, exactly.
You know, like, dude, I could sit out there in the heat and broom until I fall over from a heat stroke. And I would much rather do that than figure out my ins and outs for the last 3 months for that quarter.
Yeah,
dude, I would
exactly.
Sometimes I would just want to run my fist through the computer screen. And it's like, you know, and I know I've been more frustrated before, and they're just numbers. But when you get to the end and you're like, finally, I'm done, and then they don't add up, you're like, kill me now. Kill me now. You know, like, so, I mean, it takes some learning, and I think a lot of it is the fear of the unknown, because you're just like, oh, you know, that's always that big fear of like, you know, the IRS is going to get me, or so-and-so is going to get me, or I'm going to get in trouble with this. And really, they're just kind of like, hey, we want our money. This don't add up. You know, can you help us out here a little bit? And we actually ended up being just fine all those years. And now that I hate saying I made it, you know, and like, oh, we made it on the mountaintop or whatever. But we can afford to have an accountant now. And dude, I would forego any luxury of my life and give that accountant the money, you know, so that I don't have to deal with that. And thankfully we do. And, you know, you learn those kind of things and move on. And, you know, I'm always curious about different areas and how different people market and what they do. And I think that's kind of where you and I started, you know, to recognize each other. I've always been a big fan, you know, that of turning the camera around and really making your Facebook ads direct. You know, I really believe you should focus your Facebook ads rather than just put it out there and hope and prayer, because to me that's similar. That's the same as putting an ad in the newspaper, you know, and just saying, well, I hope somebody sees it. You know, if you can really direct your Facebook ads, which is it's more complicated than what people think, but it's not as complicated as they think. You know what I mean? It's not as hard as you think. It's more intimidating than anything. But once you get the hang of it, you know, and you realize what your content is, you know, it becomes kind of routine and similar. So I want to talk to you about that. I want to talk about how, like, because of all these companies you and I see, we see their Facebook ads and like, oh, we didn't get a call, or, you know, I got one call from it, or whatever it was. Yours is different. You get creative, as we've seen with the micro one. I get creative, and I believe that's where we see the results. What made you think, I got to do something different? It's not just money. Like, where is your creativeness? Where is your intuitiveness when it comes to Facebook ads? Because to me, Facebook ads is the best bang for your marketing dollar, hands down, of anything. You know, so what about you with your limited window, different market? You know, how did you break through?
I mean, necessity and greed are the two reasons people do anything. It started out as necessity and then turned into greed. Like, really, I hit that point like everybody does in the first year, where I had $50 in my bank account and half a tank of fuel and 100 gallons of sealer and didn't have a fucking clue what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, obviously, my poorly typed ads that I'm writing right now aren't working because they're not getting any traction, because all my words are spelled wrong and everything else.
Right.
And you know what I mean? Like as we see every day. And
what did you think as far as like how are you going to grab attention? Like, what did you think? Like, I got to get attention somehow. Like,
so people like me when they meet me in person.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that to like,
right,
like me, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like,
No, go ahead.
but it's just like I become friends with the person in the gas station, right?
Yep.
Like that type of thing.
Yeah.
And so I basically was like thinking, like, how can I portray that on the internet?
Mm-hmm.
Because like that works for me, whereas right now Facebook doesn't.
Yeah.
And then like I just like, you know, started like Googling like how to write better.
Yeah.
And then that starts a whole rabbit hole of like, you know, finding better content. And my mom's a copywriter for a living.
Okay.
So I finally actually started like listening to her for the first time in my entire life. And which was good. I should have done that a long time ago. And so you know how that is.
Yeah. I know, Mom. I should have went to college. I know, Mom. I know. Yeah. So and then actually, this may be weird. I don't know, but like, you know who Patrick McManus is, the outdoor humor writer. Can I say yes, but really mean no?
Yeah, you can.
Okay,
do that.
Good.
You should look him up if you're in.
One more time. Say his name again.
Patrick McManus.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna send you one of his books.
Okay.
Because it's worth the read and it'll change your life.
Okay, I appreciate that, dude.
He writes about outdoor humor, but the way he writes is like he'll talk about like flipping his canoe over, but do it in such a creative way that you feel like you're standing there. You're in the canoe when it's tipping over.
What's the difference? So what's the difference between outdoor humor and indoor humor?
Well, outdoor humor is about things that are happening outdoors.
Oh, I got you.
Like,
because
like
ever since since the quarantine, I've only been telling inside jokes.
You're a dad, aren't you?
Yeah, dude, super dad. All right, so his writing style influenced your ads, right? That's what you're saying.
Correct. Yes, that's what we're getting towards. So basically, I wanted to be able to entertain people with how I write.
Cool.
And also get that like, this is me. You know, if you hire Asphalt Sealing, you're hiring Cameron.
Yes.
And my crew, like,
yeah.
And that's just like, you know, instead of just like selling all the time.
Yeah, and I think that's where you and I connected, because that's when people hire Wiscoat, they're hiring me, you know. And at first I wanted to be like, you know, super prim and proper business, very professional, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And dude, it didn't matter how professional I was if they didn't believe that I was going to kick ass at this job. It didn't matter what it was. Yeah. So you know, for what I ended up doing, and I think what you're saying is, you know, you put your neck on the line and you're like, dude, it's me. You're going to get me. This is me. This is what kind of person I am. And if you're not happy, I'm not happy. And, you know, how do you tell somebody that in a newspaper ad? How do you tell somebody that in a yard sign? You know, how do you tell somebody that? There's really no, and it's even hard to tell them that without being creative in your Facebook ads. You know what I mean? By just typing it, saying, hey, hire the company you can trust. Dude, almost every company says hire the company you can trust. So, you know, for us, it really, I read a Donald Trump book, The Art of the Deal, and
excellent book.
It's a super great book. I mean, you can think whatever you want to think about the man, but I remember something from that book that I will never forget, and it said, if you don't toot your own horn, who's going to toot it? And it's like, well, shit, you know, that's right, dude. If you're doing all these great things and you are the best, and you're waiting for somebody to walk by a driveway, see it, and say, wow, that's the best. I wonder who did it. And they just keep walking. You know, it's like, well, do you think they're really going to turn in here, come up and ask somebody who really did it? More than likely not, because they really don't pick up the phone. So I started using social media to get in front of eyeballs, and for the value of the minimum dollars, you know, that Facebook charges for you, we started to see some results. And then when you really started to make it personal, like you were talking about, that's when you started to see some results. So when did you realize, like, there's something to this, and I really want to use it as far as Facebook ads go?
Probably
first year,
beginning of last year. The first year I was doing it, I really didn't. I knew I should run Facebook ads because, like, you know, when you Google how to run a business, like, basic type of thing, it says run Facebook ads. But I I didn't know anything about it. I didn't have any sort of idea what to do behind it or anything like that.
Right.
And I'd actually be interested to go back to my first few posts and read them just to see
dude.
how bad they were.
I've done it.
I don't want to.
Dude, I've done it. just be proud of what you've done and be proud of the latest one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't do it, man. I will go back to some of my videos and stuff, dude. Oh my god, dude. I leave those up for everyone's viewing pleasure. Let me tell you that much, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just I guess I would say I don't remember the first time I did it, but I wrote an ad that was you colloquial writing, where it's like you're writing in plain speech.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I wrote an ad similar to that, just I think I was like, yo, if you need some crack sealing, hit me up or something like that.
Yeah.
And I made a point to, my wife's an English teacher, so she's always on me about my punctuation.
Your mom's a copywriter. Your wife's an English teacher.
Yeah.
And Cam misspells stuff.
And my brother owns a $10 million diesel business, so we're kind of getting slapped from all sides. So he's at the bar that I'm trying to hit, and I never will. So you know how it is.
Damn, dude.
So yeah, a lot of pressure from all people, but it's good. Pressure makes diamonds, as they say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
but can he seal coat? Can he seal coat? That's the question. Can he seal coat?
No.
Right.
He sits behind his computer
Loser.
all day, so he's still down here and I'm up here. So you know how it is.
I'm messing with you. Yeah. I always ask that, dude. Whenever anyone toots horns, I'm like, yeah, but can they seal coat? My boy Eli will come home and he's like, Dad, so and so got a hoverboard and their dad drives an Audi, and I'm like, yeah, but can he seal coat? Well, no, I don't think so. Yeah, there you go. That's right. Go back and tell him his dad can't seal coat. Do whatever you got to tell him, dude. So,
do you even seal, bro?
Yeah, that's right. Do you even seal, bro? Yeah. I need to make stickers like that and then just have them have Eli hand it to the kids to hand to their dads. And be like, do you even seal, dude? Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. And you get it. I've spent hours and hours on the phone with people, trying to get them, and I've spoke at MPE about it, about if you're, if you're a $1 million or $2 million asphalt maintenance company, you probably don't have to worry about being personal anymore. Everyone probably knows that you're killing it. But if you're starting out and you're like, dude, how do I even do this? You're gonna have a hard time making your business that's just started out, and maybe you pull $50K luckily in your second year, you're still going to have a hard time coming off as the $1 million or $2 million company that you're competing against. But the one thing that I can guarantee you those companies don't have is the owner on the property at the time of the work being done, doing the work and making sure it's done right, and having the say of, we can come down a little bit if it's going to help you out. Yeah, we can wait 30 days to get paid or whatever the heck it is. So use that to your advantage, and there's no way anybody's going to know that if you can't get that content in front of them. So I think, where you and I have met there, that's a major key. Do you have any other major keys that you think as far as that goes before we talk about the micro ad? Because that's what everyone wants to talk about. I know it is. I would caution people to say, don't try to be really clever if you're not very clever, or learn how to be clever, because otherwise it's going to sound really stupid. And probably with the toot your own horn thing, I think when I started doing that, I sounded like a jerk. Yeah.
So I would say be careful with how have 3 people that you can send these to before you post them. Before you send them live, and be like, hey, can you read this and tell me how it reads?
That's really good.
If it's good, they'll tell you, or if it's bad, they need to tell you it's bad. Because I ran some ads that were real bad, and people were like, whoa, dude, you shouldn't do that.
Oh, really?
Like, oh, sweet, thanks for telling me. So because I write an ad twice a week and run it.
Yeah.
And I I usually spend this year I'm spending $6,000 in ads before the end of May.
Yeah.
Because I want just testing different things, and I'm learning what things don't work. And anyway, we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But I would say be careful with if you try to get too clever, it can backfire.
Yeah, I try not to mix the really professional ones, the toot your own horn ones, with the clever personal ones. Like I think depending on the job, you should probably judge your content on the job. So if we're doing something for a really nice industrial company here where we're taking care of their parking lot and we're doing drone shots and we're doing professional photos and stuff of it to create a portfolio, I will obviously want that post to be very professional because we're trying to appeal to other property managers and things.
Yeah.
So the content's going to be very top shelf. We're top shelf. But if we're doing a farm lane and we're saying, you tired of the manure clumping up everywhere and eating everything off there and making it look like shit, literally, we can take care of that and we'll help you with that, especially if it's just cleaning pavement services or we're doing whatever, let us rid the shit of your life or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you're right about that. That's very good advice. And especially, can you send it to a couple people? And you have to make sure they're not your really, really good buddies because they're going to bust your chops anyways, regardless. You know what I mean? So,
exactly.
That moment when you make a video or you make something and you're like, people are going to think I'm an idiot. You know what I mean? Like that moment, those ones, dude. I've had a few of those where it's like, dude, should I really? If I send this to them, they're gonna think something's wrong with me. Yeah. You know what I mean? So,
well, I'm still in that stage with the polar pineapple thing. So, if you think it's stupid, you should tell me, and I'll just take it down.
I think it's great. I think it's great because, some people, people pay services for stuff they don't feel comfortable, and same thing with me doing the accounting. I'm not comfortable doing it. I don't like doing it. It makes me uncomfortable. I'm going to pay somebody to do it. So same thing with your ads and with doing social media marketing. I think Polar Pineapple is a great idea. I also think it's a great marketing idea. I think the name is great. I think the theme is great. I like all of that. And especially with guys like us, there's guys, if guys are willing to throw $1,000 at a steel power broom that still doesn't clean as good as a street broom, a steel bristle street broom, they're going to be willing to throw $100 at some marketing and hopefully get some jobs out of it, or a couple $100.
I would certainly hope so.
Yeah, I would certainly hope so too. So the idea here is that we're going to get to talking about the Mike Rowe ad, and then let's talk about Polar Pineapple and what you want to do, because I think we should. I've been waiting for a long time for someone to do this because I had companies ask me to do what you're trying to undertake with Polar Pineapple. And like I told you before, I only want to sit on one mountain, dude. I'm lazy, so I'm not willing to go to another one. I'll yell over and tell you how to climb that mountain. I'm a real good supervisor, dude. But it's a good undertaking, and with your, with the time you have in the winter, I think you can put together some campaigns that will be easy to run over the summer for some of these guys. And I think there's great value in it, even with your service fee on top of the Facebook ad fees. I think that's a great idea. But let's talk about the Mike Rowe ad, dude, because it's your ad. Mike Rowe just pretty much piggybacked off of you to help get himself some more fame. And here we are now talking about it, giving rights to the actual owner of the ad. So tell us how that whole thing came about, man.
For those of you that haven't read it, I'll just post a link to it in this YouTube video.
Yeah, send me the link and I'll post it. Yeah.
Okay. And basically, like anytime I'm talking to people, like other business owners, are always like, "Oh, it's so hard to find people that don't do drugs, that show up on time, blah blah blah," like the normal issues. And I just hate corporate jargon.
Yeah.
And I can't write it. It sounds stupid. Like nobody likes to read it. It's exhausting to read, really.
And it's not fun.
And since I have this writing fetish going on right now, it's just I was sitting down at my computer, and I'm one of those people who, if I have something on my mind, I stay up till 4 a.m. and think about it or do it or whatever. It was like 2:30 in the morning. I just started typing, and I was like, how can I how can I appeal to a 16-year-old that doesn't want to go to college, doesn't know what to do this summer, but wants to get a job, and also be extremely honest, because I think a lot of people are lied to when they get it, people are like, oh yeah, we have to work hard, but we have fun too. It's like, not really. Like, we just work hard and I yell at you all day.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. Like, you know what I mean? So, and I don't know, it just kind of like started flowing and then I ran it and it seemed to work. People seemed to like it. I woke up the next morning to like 70 or 80 shares. This is pre-micro.
Yeah.
And my wife edited it overnight, so that was appreciated. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just wanted to, like I said, get the point across. Like basically, like, this job really sucks, but I will pay you more money here than you'll make anywhere else. And I'm not going to get your expectations up on anything that I'm not willing to offer, which basically the only thing I'm willing to offer is a lot of money for an 18-year-old or 16-year-old, and a really busy summer.
Yeah. Well, dude, when you get reading it, like, when you're the reader, I guess, when you get about halfway down, it really starts to get good, because you're just like, dude, this is exactly the human beings that show up to work, when you're talking about it. And then when you get to the end, you're just like, dude, total classic. We wish we all could say that and would say that on our job app, on our hirings and our ads for hiring people. But super creative, super good. And then how many days did it even exist before all of a sudden Mike Rowe shared it? Because how in God's name it got in front of his eyes is one of my most curiosities that I've loved, of like, how did he see it to begin with? Because with so much traffic and so much content getting created all the time, for something to rise to the surface to where someone of any kind of prowess takes a look at it. How many days did it exist, Cam, before all of a sudden you were like, because I remember the post when you're like, holy shit, Mike Rowe shared it, and then all of a sudden it was gone. I remember that post, like, I could almost hear your voice being like, oh my God, guys, you ain't gonna believe this. So how many days did it exist before he grabbed it and took off with it?
I think it was a week, because it had died down. Like, it got quite a bit of shares right off the bat. And then like 2 days later, as is custom for Facebook posts, like, I think it just like kind of died down, and I hadn't thought about it in like maybe a day or two.
Yeah.
And I was out plowing, and I didn't have phone service, and I came back into phone service like an hour later, and my phone was just like, I had notifications on for everything. I just like, it was like, you have 82 message requests on Facebook. And I was like, hey, what? and like things like that. And I was like, something's wrong. And then like, I pull up Facebook, and I didn't know that he shared it for like an hour or two, because I couldn't find who the original share was, because it got like 1,000 shares like within like 45 minutes.
That's crazy,
like,
dude.
It was just insane. Like, I've never experienced that.
Crazy, dude. I've always wondered like what a phone does. When someone hits something and it goes viral, like, what does a phone do? Because it has to
eventually stop saying you have a message from this person, a message from this person. It just says you have like 82 pending messages or whatever,
crazy,
or like
dude.
message requests.
Did it keep buzzing, or did it was just like, this is my life?
Oh yeah.
Now? Oh yeah, it's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it just like buzz.
So,
like constant. And I was like, wow, so this is cool. But the reason that he saw it, and it's like my mom shared it, and she shares all my posts. So thanks, Mom. And she was like,
she's getting like, on the podcast.
She like tagged him in it and was like, I don't remember what she said. She like tagged him in it, and like I was like, whatever, like he's not gonna see it. Like, anyway, and then apparently he did. So
dude, you're gonna give Mom a new hoodie, bro. Especially after that one, dude. That's all there is to it. So tell us about Polar Pineapple, dude, because I think it's a need. Otherwise, I wouldn't have hit you up and said, dude, you should, I liked when I seen you do it, because before we even talked about Polar Pineapple, you and I had been talking about social media and, kind of how you're one of the only people that I've ever seen that uses it the way that I think that it should be used. And I think you might use it better than I use it. If I think if I was hungry again, knowing what I know now, I might use it in the way that you use it again. But now we use it to sustain and drum up new stuff here and there, but not at the level that you do. And I think starting with Polar Pineapple might be a good move. And I would be very excited to see what you do and how you help people with it, even if it's just on a consulting basis. I think just some of that advice coming from somebody besides me, will help out, and especially somebody with uber success, man, like yourself, and with what you've been doing. So tell us about Polar Pineapple before we close out.
So basically, I'm in all the asphalt pages. Everybody's pages make me cringe a little bit. No offense. That's just the way it is.
The groups or groups or the business pages?
The business pages that I see through the groups, like all the seal cutting groups, and because I try to follow as many as I can, so just to show some love. And I've always, for the last several months, especially in the American board, I've always tried to teach people how to write properly and how to take a good picture and that sort of thing. And I was talking to one of my friends about it, and he was like, "You need to charge for that." And I was like, "No, I don't really know that much." And he was like, "You need to charge for that." And he kept hounding me, and I was like, finally, enough people said it. And then the Mike Rowe thing happened, and then I had 6 ads in a row that got really popular, not 2 million views organically, but 20 or 30,000 organic. And I was like, sweet.
Yeah, right. I seen you tag Kesha in the next one, and then you tagged Lady Gaga, and then tagged Brad Pitt in the next one just to try to get them to go ahead with it.
You know how it is. So let's just keep this trend rolling.
That's right.
So long, basically, I've dedicated a lot, thousands of hours to learning how to do it effectively. And quite frankly, I feel like I've exhausted what I am comfortable telling someone for free how to do. Mm-hmm. And if they want more information, they can pay me for it. And that maybe sounds mean, but anyone could learn what I learned by Googling it and taking it from there. And I'm not going to, I have 5 or 6 articles that I've written about Facebook ads. Mm-hmm. Lots of individual posts. Anyone's welcome to go find those. But my main goal with it is I don't want to just run your Facebook page for the next 20 years and take a bunch of money from you. Right. And that I don't want to do that at all. I would prefer for me and you to hop on a phone call for 2 hours and I lay out exactly what you're doing wrong and how to fix it. Yeah. So that then over the next 10 years, you don't even have to talk to me again. You just kind of have these notes and you can just do it, because I'm a lot more concerned with the industry as a whole being better than it is right now.
Yeah.
Than I am about making money. I make plenty of money seal coating.
Image wise. Yeah.
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 I want all of us to look better.
Yeah.
Because that's going to make me look better.
Same. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I see.
It's.
Yeah. What I kind of hinted towards when I spoke in Cleveland was, guys, you can get on and place ads for $10, get used to placing them, and then just take what I've said here, start using it with your Facebook ads, and just stay up to date with it. Even if you're minimally just staying up to date with the features and the way things are and what you can and can't do, you're gonna flatten that learning. I don't want to say flatten the curve, dude. That's what everybody is saying about learning. But the learning curve isn't going to be so steep when all of a sudden you realize, holy crap, we should jump on this. You're going to learn. You're going to know some stuff. And for what you spend at the gas station at lunch on junk food, you could be putting in Facebook ads and educating yourself. So,
exactly.
I think that mixed with guidance from a guy like you would really help out. And if you can follow up with them, in any fashion that they would like, whether it's an example or whatever, for a small fee, maybe even, I think it's well worth it, dude. To me, this is how we're going to market in the future, which now is the future. And this might be the newspaper, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, that stuff might be the newspaper of 30 years from now. So don't fall behind right now if you're going to be taking over your family's business or you're going to be in business for a while or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I kind of want to be on the front and learning stuff, and I know TikTok people don't like and hate, and I know Snapchat didn't go where we all thought it was going to go, and I know, some of these other ones are done, and LinkedIn doesn't get you residential jobs, whatever, but some of them are going to come along, different apps, different things are going to come along, and you should at least be paying attention if you own a business and there's marketing opportunity there, don't you think?
I mean, it's everything I do is about creating attention. So like, where's the eyes at, and go find there. And it doesn't have to be Facebook.
No,
it can be anything. But like, the type of people I'm trying to talk to aren't on Instagram.
No,
really. Or like I'm not a big fan of Instagram. I'm terrible at Instagram, honestly. Like, I guarantee you, I'm the worst Instagrammer on the planet. Unless I'm like trying to sell something, then like there's like a difference to it. But yeah, like, people are on Facebook right now. People scroll Facebook, and people are used to seeing ads on Facebook, so they're not annoyed by it.
Yeah.
So
your grandma's on Facebook. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And like, dude, and then not only that, my 10-year-old daughter's on Facebook. So it's like you're getting the full range spectrum from top to bottom. Granted, my daughter shouldn't be on Facebook, and we try to limit it as much as possible, especially nowadays. But that's just the way it's going to be. You're talking about attention. I know where their attention is. It's not on the billboard when they're cruising down the road, because they're looking at their phone when they're driving, going down the road. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't want our creative ad to be the reason somebody swerves into the median, but their attention is on their phone all the time, not just when they're driving. You know what I mean? So, that's
that's just the way it is, and it goes further than that too. Like, having a truck that looks half decent, and having, if your truck is wrapped, don't make it so blatant. Like, don't make it so busy that you can't read it.
Right.
I would, and like, I mean, it just like
brand recognition.
How you portray yourself on the internet and in person you're always marketing for yourself.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh
yeah. And it needs to be aesthetically pleasing. And I think that's why my ads work better than other people's, is because like, it's just like, my ads aren't exhausting to read.
Right.
The picture isn't hard to look at.
Right.
Like, anyway, yeah. And it's where everybody's at.
Yep. So I mean,
I would encourage.
I think you're right. I think yours is not exhausting to read. They're fun to read. They get attention. It goes with your brand good. Same thing with Wiscoat. You see the red state that says Wiscoat. You see my face. You hear the voice. You know it's going to be short and simple. We're going to talk about what we're doing, where we're going, and that's the brand. It's going to be in front of your face probably 5 times this week. You know what I mean? So we want brand recognition. We want everything to go along with our brand recognition that way too. So I think you got it, especially being as you're not solely a marketer trying to market to the asphalt industry. I think that's where you're going to have leaps and bounds over everyone else, is the fact that, dude, we tried it with our seal coating company this way. Didn't work. This is the one that works. Do this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm with you.
And I am my own test subject too. So like, I tried the Instagram thing for a while and it didn't work. So like, now I'm pulling away from Instagram. So I'm not going to push you for Instagram ads because they didn't work for me. So I'm not going to sell them to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And for where we're at, how rural we are, no, it didn't work. Now, dude, if I was selling like clothing or a brand or an urban brand, yeah, sure, maybe. But
absolutely, influencer marketing.
Yeah, for our business, it's not going to work. So, it works for us on the podcast, thank God, because that's how we all connect. That's how we all connect. A lot of times, and that's where some of the little videos and my memes go out first, is right there, dude. So, I mean, everything has its niche and where it should be, but. Dude, I wish you the best, and I really appreciate you being on here. Any advice, any other things you want to say before we close out the podcast for the day? You can't say hang out with your striper out, because Marcus Stroud already said that, and that's just that was classic. So,
can I give like a 1-minute pitch on how to write a Facebook ad better than everyone else?
Please. I think that'll be a good way to close out.
Okay. Here we go. You won't even need to talk to me after you hear this. So first of all, take a picture with the sun in the background and lots of contrast in your picture, like green grass, blue sky, black asphalt, and wait for your seal coat to be dry, for the love of God. Go back and take a picture later if you have to. Like wet seal coat looks disgusting.
Patchy.
Like everybody knows that.
Yes, rough.
Yeah. And so take that picture, and then when you post it, bump your contrast like 30%.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not creative at writing or you have horrible editing skills, use as few of words as possible. And always like every single word that you type out, if you're not clever with copywriting, I would say open up a thesaurus and find a better word than the one you're going to use.
Cool.
And that's it. Like, and keep it super short and simple. And stop bolding every single, like, don't capitalize every letter and stop selling to people. Stop saying, call us today for your free quote. Like, because everyone says it and no one's going to. So just stop selling like that.
Yeah.
Like, anyway.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. It's perfect. No, I think people look for the ROI right now. And you can't do that. It might be a 10 ad ROI. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you walk in, you go to buy a truck, and someone's like, this one's the best. Come here today and buy. You're like, dude, I don't got time for that. And I think your Facebook ad could be saying the exact same thing. It could be saying, we're the best. Come get it. Call now. Special. And then people are like, scroll.
Yeah.
But if it says, imagine if this was your driveway and you were looking at it right now. If that's your first line and it's that picture you were talking about with the sun and the contrast, then all of a sudden they said, see more. They want to see what the heck it says, and it sticks in their brain. So very good. Very good last word. Cameron, hopefully this isn't the last time you're on the podcast. Hopefully you go viral again and it's Donald Trump, redoing it next time. Or maybe the Queen of England, dude. Maybe the Queen of England.
There we go. Yeah. I'll work on it. I'm going to start on that right now.
All right, dude, do it. And if it ends up being Vladimir Putin, I'll go with you, dude. I don't care. I'll go to Kremlin. I don't care. You're closer than I am. I'll get a connecting flight, and then we'll go from there just over the Bering Strait and catch it there.
Well, you know how Alaska is. It's only 3 miles, and half the time the ocean's frozen anyway, so you can just walk.
All right, that's good enough.
That's a joke.
I'm pretty buoyant too, dude. So if you got to float me across, you can do that too. So it'll work out. It'll work out all ways. So hopefully we get to meet up and see each other sometime. I know it's very hard for you being in Alaska with snow plowing and everything else to get free. Maybe you can somehow, some way, get somebody at some point to plow some driveways for you, so we can finally meet up down in Nashville or wherever NPD happens to be, and I'll buy the whiskey, and we'll be able to joke and talk about Mike Rowe and have some good times, man. So thank you very much for being on the podcast again. And as always, we want you to seal it, stripe it, pave it, and kill it. Peace.
Peace.